New Gaming Order. We back like the Juggernaut, Mitch. This is our second segment of our podcast for February 5th. And for those of you just joining us from the YouTube side, make sure you check the first segment that Nelson had chopped and spliced together. So also you'll notice that there's somewhat like modifications going to the presentation. So we're always taking feedback and trying to implement what you guys want to see. And then shout out to Full Screen for taking care of us and helping us boost our subscribership. All right. So the next topic, and this, you don't have to do a lot of research for this, but it's just common sense when it comes to it. The GTA series, right? GTA 5 just sold 10 million units across the PS4 and the Xbox One. And it was already released last gen, but now you got this new version, enhanced and everything with first person mode and all that good stuff. Now, some people would say, hey, you know what? How does a game like that continue to push copies and such? And then you got, games like Call of Duty that come out every year. You know what I mean? And it's just like, okay, every iteration they're selling less and less. My thing is, you know what? GTA games come out when it's the right time. You got between iterations. I forget what the numbers were. You have 7 GTA games that came out over the franchise history, but then you have Call of Duty that's came out 2006, 2008. I'm trying to remember the exact date. That has what's that like 12 games?
Twice
and
in
it's
a row.
a couple of years newer. So it's just like, man, Call of Duty is churning out the games every year. But then, Grand Theft Auto, when it comes out, it folks are waiting for the next installment. They get to play, you know what I mean? So maybe how do you explain how Grand Theft Auto still stays successful, where Call of Duty sales decline every installment? So starting with Brother New, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, Grand Theft, there's just been a fascination with Grand Theft Auto because ever since it first came out, I played the first one with the overhead view on, I think it was PlayStation 1, where the people screaming like, and all that stuff. I mean, it was just a niche market, and you really can't get the Grand Theft Auto experience anywhere. It's like almost the closest thing to simulation that you can get, which is creepy. But I think the success comes from, like you said, they release at the right time. They don't shovel it down your throat. They don't. It's not
oversaturated with that game.
Right. They don't. You know what I mean? They don't. When the new one comes out, there's a true leap forward. The city is bigger. The story's better. The sound effects are different. Like it's like, and part of the reason I think they take so long to come out with new ones, it's like they rebuild the game from scratch every time. They're not just reskinning it and giving you the same animations, the same cars. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, and they go to these cities and they try to scale it in game as if you're in that city for real. So it takes a lot of work to do that. But they have the money and they have the resources, which I know the Call of Duty franchises do too, because I mean, you guys are selling over 1 million copies when you drop. However, eventually, it's gonna come to a point where y'all gonna have to stop and truly rebuild. And I don't feel like they've done that yet. I'm still enjoying Call of Duty. Advanced Warfare is my favorite right now, next to Modern Warfare 2. Those are my two favorites. But I think a lot of companies, even Battlefield, need to stop and truly rebuild the franchise. Take a L, take a year off to really tear it down and say, okay, what do we do wrong? Now let's get it right. Instead of saying, oh, you know what? We know that we can just reskin this, add about 10 new features, and we're going to sell 1 million copies. That's what it's all about. Right now, it's about how can we become legendary and please the fans? How can we make more money? It's really what it's all about, with microtransactions and things like that. But I'm going to leave it at that.
All right, and New Gaming Order fans, I am not in any way trying to compare Call of Duty and GTA in terms of games. Honestly, it's like apples and oranges. You can't compare the games. We're looking at how the companies are handling, because GTA is selling 10 million copies. That's great. You know what I mean? And like Noop was saying, they're not jamming it. They're not doing the John Cena effect where they're like, here's another game, bam, you know what I mean? So, Shinwar, what are your thoughts on, you know, how successful GTA has continued to be in games like Call of Duty, hell, even Street Fighter, like constantly, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition, Super Street Fighter 4, Hyper, Omega, you know what I mean? Like, they keep pushing out all that stuff, and history shows every time they upgrade or put a new thing, like within a close time frame, the sales tend to drop. You know, so what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I just want to start off to say that I just beat Gutex for the second time, round 2. Just want to put that out there. The video is actually uploaded now already, so it's out there. But you know, it's a cash cow, Alex. With every you know, as long as they can keep pumping it out, they're gonna try to keep making money. My only thing is, I wouldn't do it yearly. I just think that they don't allow these revisions and updates and new games with the same title and all that. They don't let it breathe. So for example, you get WWE 2K14, and we know the following year around October, November, there's gonna be the next one. Like, you barely have time for that other game, the previous game, to breathe. And I believe me and Nuke talked about this. Like, if they should let it breathe by doing DLC. So for example, going back,
extend the game,
extend the game. Like, it's just too much.
People have said that about, and people said that about Madden a long time ago. Like, people are like, look, give us Madden for 2 years, give us one Madden for 2 years, and take your time to rebuild the game.
And make sure it's a leap, you know, technologically.
EA just needs to lose the license. That's what needs to happen.
Yes, Jesus.
Okay.
That'll force them to make a better game, because from what I understand, the 2K football games from years ago are still superior to the new ones coming out.
Yep.
Thank you.
And that's a shame.
Yeah. That is
2005 was the last 2K football game, and Madden right now still can't do things that game did all that time ago.
See,
now, if a 2K game came out on this gen with all the new graphics and technology and stuff, that would be the best football game of all time.
With the history they have with 2K basketball, because a lot of people don't remember 2K football. You know what I mean? They didn't make it to 360 and PS3. But just off of 2K's popularity with basketball alone, if they came out with a football game, Madden would almost probably be dead, honestly.
But you know what? It's funny that, you know, you see, that's the thing. Like, Madden keeps coming out every year, lack of competition. You know what I mean? And it's what it is. But you know, that'll probably be a topic for another podcast. Like, you know, we'll discuss that. You know, should 2K and NFL make a deal and see if they can bring back that particular line of games and such, you know, but we'll see. But getting back to the whole thing with oversaturation and why certain games do better than others, it's just, you know, the writing's on the wall, as Gokin was saying. Hey, if you force it and you oversaturate your market, it's like literally every year a Call of Duty game has to compete against its successor the following year. And you expect somebody to go get, you know, who has Advanced Warfare to go back and buy Call of Duty Ghost? Like, you know, that doesn't make sense. But GTA gives their games enough time to breathe and flourish, and that's why they hit that 10 million copies sold, and the game being a re-release. You know,
but you know what? Also, Alex, it deals with anticipation. So think about it. From Grand Theft Auto 4, which was on the 360, and then Grand Theft Auto 5 came out basically at the end of the 360's life cycle, and then pushed out again for next gen consoles. Like, it's a franchise. Like, not saying the other games are not, but they don't give it time to breathe. Like, for example, Street Fighter 4. Okay, we're done. Like, we're at the end of the rope with Street Fighter 4, and that's great. 2008 to 2015 or 2014, whatever. And now we move on to Street Fighter 5, which won't be until sometime probably next year. So, and then, you know, we're gonna go through the constant revisions of that game. One thing, like NetherRealm Studios with Mortal Kombat, even with the new one, they had Injustice in between MK9 and MKX.
Yes.
So they let that breathe. You see what I'm saying? They gotta space it out, man.
Mm-hmm. All right, and then to bring it to a close, Nelson, your thoughts on GTA doing well with the sales, and in comparison to other companies that oversaturate with the same game over and over.
Did Chris have time to talk?
Yeah. Oh, did you? Yeah, Chris.
I said about 3 words.
All right, so if Chris,
did you have anything to add?
Chris, if you have anything to add on, now's the time.
Yeah, it's I brought up the Wikipedia page on Grand Theft Auto. There were more games for the series than I thought there were, but in terms of the major releases, like 3, 4, 5, between 3 and 5, you had Vice City and San Andreas, so the gap wasn't that big. But it was Grand Theft Auto 3 was 2001. Grand Theft Auto 4 was 2008, 7 full years. And even then, it was 3 years. San Andreas was 2004, that was 3 years. So there's a big gap, and there's a big anticipation for these games. That's why people will, buy them in so much. Mm-hmm. But with the Call of Duties and all them, I don't know what the draw is for these games. People buy the same shit every year. So it's kind of like people buying the sports games every year. You get a reskin, new maps, stories, and consequential.
People buy it.
I know, and that's why they keep doing it.
Like he just said, with that gap, if you know that this franchise only comes out every 3 years, that means that game is consistently probably selling for 3 years. Versus if I know I'm getting another one next year, once the new one comes out, the old one is dead. Like, it's gonna be bargain bin. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And then you know what? And what happens? Folks will get the Call of Duty to do the campaign and then just move on. Like I skip Call of Duty Ghost. I'm like, this is just too much Call of Duty. Like,
no, you just hate dogs.
Well,
and then the beat came in.
Unbelievable. All right, so Nelson, your thoughts before we break off to the next topic.
All right, now my point of Grand Theft Auto doing well, one, because it relates to everybody. Let's be realistic. If you're putting it in a real setting where people could relate to violence or sex remarks, whatever they may be, it's relatable to
last
our
one was always
generation
like
now.
playing Sopranos character.
And and the thing is, it's like they're not oversaturating like Call of Duty or Madden or whatnot. They released them a couple of years apart from each other, unless if it's like a very well needed expansion pack, like they did with Liberty Stories, Vice City Stories,
Ballad of Gay Tony,
Ballad of Gay Tony, stuff like that.
I can't, yo.
But,
and even then, it was 4 years between that last batch and the 5th game.
Look at that. So it's a gap, and people eat it up because there's different reasons for people playing these kind of games. Like, I'll use myself as an example. I'm not really into Grand Theft Auto, but when I got 5 and all the stuff that you can do, it can be used, to pass the time. It could be used as a venting tool to alleviate stress when you're stressed out over work or.
Call of Duty, you can do that. You just want to shoot something.
No. See, here's the thing. With Call of Duty, it's a rage-inducing game. It gets you more aggravated than calm.
Are you talking about me, Nelson?
Especially, I'm gonna give you guys a bit of a history. Me, Luke, and Alex. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. Alex comes into the game right off of work.
Call of Duty.
And next thing you know, we're shooting, right? How come Alex shoots me and his team doesn't know which one is what? And then I
might have been mad at you that day.
Wait, and then on top of that, he tries to shoot my helicopter that I earned. My kill streak.
Unbelievable.
Yo,
I was having a bad day.
Alex was like, I got you. He said, Alex, that was my helicopter.
I was having a bad day.
My point is, Call of Duty gets the person aggravated where Grand Theft Auto can peacefully ease the mind, shoot some people, just randomly do stuff, drive around.
Ease the mind, shoot some people. I'm getting on.
But the thing is, there's that's another topic for another time with people getting too mentally into the game and actually imitating it. That's another topic for another time, but they sell well. It's like the hot ticket. They know what certain games that attract people. Call of Duty is one of them. Grand Theft Auto is another. Madden in the sense, yes and no, depending on its fan base. But the 2K franchise as a basketball, woo! Every fucking game, instant bought, instant purchase for anyone who likes sports games. And it's sad that 2K can't replicate their football stuff and do it for right now because they need the acquired license to do so. So it just makes everything worse, but they just know. These companies know what to do. They know what the people want.
Yeah, they space the time out. They space it out. And that's why GTA is done so well.
They also put a lot of effort into the games too.
Yes.
GTA 5 was in production for over 5 years.
Not only that, but
and that's not bad
ones,
considering there's some games that take like 6, 7, 8 years to produce.
What was it? Final Fantasy 15 in production for 10 years, or Duke Nukem? Duke Nukem was in production for like 15.
That failure of the game.
But the thing is, though, the new Grand Theft Auto offers like a great amount of new expansion, a whole new first-person aspect mode, and there's free DLC coming for the game for people who already had transferred over their save file from the previous console to now.
So I don't get it, Nelson.
You know what else?
No, I didn't get the stuff. This is my first time playing GTA 5 on the.
You're gonna get heist mode, all right? So comment. You're gonna get heist mode.
Yeah, I never got heist mode on my copy.
Well, you're going to soon.
I don't have an Expo.
Well, you still get it regardless. It's coming up for.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I would have to.
The other thing you gotta keep in mind with Grand Theft Auto 2 is that you have almost every genre of video games located in one game. You got racing, you got shooters, you got your RPG elements. I mean, it's just so much you can do, and that's another thing. They provide you with without even giving you any DLC. You're gonna be playing the game for months. You know, like a lot of other games, it's like, okay, wait, like a month later, you're like, okay, where's the DLC? I'm like, man, come on, you gotta give us more.
Okay, all right. So, wrapping this segment up, those of you who are live, just stay through the intermission. For our YouTube folks, we're gonna break this off. Make sure you go back and check out the last video, and then check out the next video. So with that, we'll see you in a little bit. Peace.